Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome back to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. We have some emails. Oh, diary. First day at work, and I have been assigned to the most prestigious project in the company, the Sample 17 project. My job is to research the life of the pirate Edward Kenway and find promising footage for use in future Abstergo products. Sample 17 executive producer Melanie LeMay is a passionate and energetic leader, and the company CCO, Olivier Garneau, seems like a fun guy. I can't wait to settle in and get to work. Work Diary Week 2. Talked to Melanie LeMay about rewards and bonuses. Visited Olivier Garneau in his office. He asked me to prioritize Edward's search for something called the Observatory. Was contacted by John from IT. He asked me to access a colleague's computer and recover a video file for him. I delivered this video file, a strange autopsy video, to a courier named Rebecca in the lobby. I also noticed the barista here is a bit of a dandy, a bit annoying. So far so good, a really productive week. And he still hasn't served me coffee. Week 3 and all is well. At Olivier's request, I should be searching Edward Kenway's memories for the observatory. But John from IT continues to pester me with menial tasks. Melanie seems optimistic about the whole project. Okay. Messages. Have I read this one? Bienvenue. Welcome. Your communicator is your key to success here at Abstergo Entertainment. Please keep it with you at all times. Should you lose your communicator, contact the front desk. A recovery fee of $100 will be deducted from your next paycheck. Oh boy. Please respect your non-disclosure agreement. Our work here is exciting and confidential. Security breaches will not be tolerated. Have a great week. Chloe Lesney. Welcome to the team. We should have lunch sometime once you're settled. Sure, Chloe. Evan Dean. Ahoy, mate! Welcome to the good ship Abstergo Entertainment, where everything is always jolly and we all love our work to death. Glad to have you aboard. I hope you're fun. The last guy was a little dull and, well, just kidding. See you around. M.O. Boudrial. Nice to meet you. I just want to say it's so good having a new face on the team. This is a great place to work, but some people can get a little negative at times, if you know what I mean. Let's get a coffee later. Can you convince Sean to give me coffee? John from IT. Nice meeting you. If you have any problems with your animus, feel free to shoot me a message. I don't extend this privilege to everyone, but Melanie tells me you know your stuff. Good enough for me. Hey there, buddy pal. What's this the guy you're researching over there? Hush hush? Top secret? Good for you, you Abstergo protege, you. At least they trust someone. Glad it's you. Oh, that's nice. So, Evan, Chloe, wanna get some pizza? Is it lunchtime? Which one are you, anyway? Hi there. Okay, never mind. Hi. Maybe I'll take an apple or a banana. Oh, is that Powerade? Or is it just water? I think it's just water. Don't mind me. I'm not doing anything. Bingo! Antikythera mechanism. Originally assumed to be an analog computing device built for the purposes of determining the future positions of astral bodies, Abstergo Industries scientists have recently discovered that the Antikythera mechanism is merely one small portion of a much larger tool, a so-called prognostication machine, though it had been thought to have been used by the first civilization to make probability-based predictions of future events. It has been confirmed, for instance, that our precursor race used such a device in conjunction with their inherent precognitive abilities to locate and contact Mr. Desmond Miles, the source of the sample 17 strand, for purposes that shall remain classified. It is also known that, due to the nature of these quantum probability measurements, that such machines would have been exceedingly difficult to use, and that many hundreds or thousands of trials would have been needed to peek such great distances into the future. Interesting. What do we have here? Baghdad Battery. A mystery that has puzzled scientists for decades. The Baghdad Battery's ultimate secret has finally been discovered. This year, researchers at Abstergo Industries determined that these batteries contained at one time a synthetic precursor element capable of producing power by harnessing energy generated by the passage of time. Eerily similar to what theoretical physicists have called time crystals. This unknown crystalline material was able to generate tiny but unlimited levels of energy simply by siphoning energy from the passage of time itself. Though minute, the resulting power was likely enough to power a small LED, resulting in a humble but incredibly efficient means of producing light. To date, a functioning precursor time crystal has not been located. Wow, that is interesting. Blood vials. Little is known about the function of these blood vials, though dozens have been found since Abstergo took an interest in their recovery at some point in the late 1980s. To date, only 3 have been found with their original contents intact, and of these, only 1 contained a confirmed sample of precursor DNA. Abstergo Industries executives have expressed a particular interest in locating more precursor DNA, and if possible, samples of our so-called mitochondrial Eve. As far-fetched as this sounds, please take special care to identify any vials you might stumble upon in a memory replay. Unfortunately, as the average half-life of DNA is a mere 500 years, any sample old enough to belong to either source, 80,000 years or more, will have degraded well beyond usefulness. We suspect it will require a minimum of over 250 similarly preserved samples, and a hell of a lot of luck to sequence an entire precursor genome, though the true figure is probably closer to 500. Crystal skulls. These ancient tools have been found on a few separate occasions, all allegedly precursor sites throughout the world. All are communication devices to some degree, although 3 distinct varieties have been discovered so far. The first crystal skulls worked much like the mobile telephony devices we use today. These allowed multi-node communication between all who possessed a working device. A second crystal skull was later discovered to have a record and playback function, meaning a user could record and send audio-visual messages to multiple parties as frequently as he saw fit. A third set of crystal skulls discovered only recently seem to have acted as passive monitoring devices, much like televisions in a multi-camera surveillance system setup. As yet, the cameras on the opposite end of this setup have not been found. It is unclear why these communication devices were designed to resemble such a macabre piece of anatomy, but we have no reason to suspect that our precursor race, as intelligent as they were, didn't occasionally fall victim to gaudy fashion. Memory seals. These devices, powerful in function but limited in scope, were used by the precursor first civilization to record brief memory impressions, which could then be played back or re-experienced by another user at a later date. Judging by their scarcity, fewer than 40 have ever been found or accounted for, it appears that these seals were not wielded casually by the precursor race, but were intended for use only by the wealthiest and most powerful members of that society. To date, no seals containing recorded precursor memories have been found, and only a few have been known to contain any information whatsoever. The seals used by the assassin Altair ibn Ahad to pass memory information to Ezio Auditore da Firenze are suspected to be functional to this day, but as of this writing, their whereabouts are unknown. As a point of interest, it can be revealed that many of Abstergo's early breakthroughs in genetic memory technology came about through close study of these artifacts, although current Animus technology is not based on their architecture. The Voynich Manuscript. A fascinating puzzle as yet unsolved, we are deeply interested in finding the person or persons responsible for the creation of this magnificent and mystifying tome. All researchers assigned to European subjects living in the 15th and 16th centuries should be advised to pay special heed to any mention of this rare and valuable artifact. Though recent carbon dating has given the manuscript a birth date of 1405 or thereabouts, Abstergo Industries has uncovered highly classified information that complicates this theory greatly. One subject of great interest to us in this endeavor is the English philosopher Roger Bacon. I believe this is the manuscript that you get in Assassin's Creed Rogue. Notable artifacts deserving closer investigation. Okay. This, I believe, is mine? Yes. Excuse me.
I think the idea is that you're supposed to love your job enough to put in the extra time.
Don't say that so loud. God, did I make a mistake last week? Sticking my nose where I shouldn't have. What happened? Poking around the servers, I found a small bit of sequence data on Joan of Arc. Minutes after loading it up, security was at my desk.
Is that what happened? I saw them asking you questions.
Yeah. They confiscated my Animus key, and now my position here is under review.
Are you kidding? That's scary.
Seriously? Just because he accidentally stumbled upon Warren Viddick's old memories? Jeez. Is there anything in here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's go meet with Melanie.
Over here. Are you ready? He's waiting for us.
Ready? Nice elevator music.
I just watched some of your footage from this week. It's amazing. Blackbeard was mental. And we all got so excited that we started talking about this idea for a trailer about him. Maybe start with him drinking, talking to some pirates, telling a story. Then, we cut to him leaping across the deck of his boat and... Sorry, his ship, not boat. But jumping around the deck of his ship, swinging from ropes, and fighting like a devil. I mean, obviously we're gonna have to manipulate some of the existing footage to get it looking good, but it could be great. I'm getting a shiver in my timbers just thinking about it. Sorry.
A shiver in me timbers. And also, you were just describing the reveal trailer for Black Flag, weren't you? Abstergo is Ubisoft.
Bonjour, ça va? I hope we're not late.
No, you can go right...
Hi, Melanie. I saw you just walked in. I need a few minutes with you alone. Laetitia is on the phone and we're discussing the Kenway project.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry about this. I'll call you when we're ready.
Shouldn't be long.
Hello? Hello? Do you have a second? Of course you do. Head to the waypoint on your map. I have another job for you. I'd like to link all the cameras in the building to a central monitoring system, but most aren't calibrated correctly. Head to the right of Olivier's office. And if the receptionist complains, act like you're using the toilets.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom, is that okay?
If you need to use the toilets, they're just here on the right.
Thank you.
Might be a few newspapers lying around too.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not that kind of person. Thanks anyway. Nice. Interesting. Okay, time to use the bathroom. Wash my hands. Why do we not have mirrors here? Dry my hands off. Okay. Back to work. Where are the janitors, anyway? I should keep track of their stuff.
Another locked door. Not a problem. Voila. You now have level 2 security clearance. Not bad for your first few weeks. Find the camera control station first.
Thanks. Sticky note. Nine. So we need 1, 3, 5, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18.
I'll update your communicator.
Hi, Desmond.
Ah, this is an interesting security measure. It looks like you need to find the right combination of numbers to adjust the wave. Easy enough, right? Pick a number selector, then change its value. Once you find the right combination of numbers, you should get access.
Navigate between numbers using left and right. Change the values using left and right. Currently select a number, possible value. The goal of this hack is to find prime numbers which, when multiplied together, will result in a number matching the target number of the puzzle. If the last digit is even, divisible by 2, or 0, then at least one of the multipliers is 2. If the sum of all digits is divisible by 3, then at least one of the multipliers is 3. If the last digit of your sum is 5 or 0, then at least one of the multipliers is 5. So it's 0, so we got 2 and 5. And of course, 10 times 1 is 7. 10 times 7 is 70.
It works.
And if we want information on assassins or Templars or the observatory or whatever the fuck else interests us, Olivier, you will deliver it. Full stop.
Uh-huh.
I understand that, Leticia. I'm sorry if that came out wrong. We are not trying to be a bottleneck here, but we just don't have the resources right now to do 2 times the research.
Finding that balance is your priority. Your entertainment products are simply a means to pay the bills for larger and more important work. That's the way the world works. Dirty money buys clean hospitals. You get it?
We're on board, Letitia, rest assured. We have our best employee working on this, but it will take time.
That means you.
Good. And thank you. The both of you. I look forward to seeing what you deliver. Until then, I'll see you at the shareholders meeting, Olivier.
Looking forward to it. Bye-bye. Tabarnak! It's a little too early for that kind of abuse, huh? Come on.
So, what's next?
We do as the lady says. Focus on the observatory.
Assassins, Templars, crazy talk. I'm curious about this shareholders meeting, though. How about you break into Olivier's office and see if you can find his schedule? Oh, what? You don't like that idea? Well, how about I blow the fucking whistle on you, hacker? I own you. What I mean is, I don't want to ruin your life, so do as I say. Now, step over to the window.
I don't know if I like you, John. Also, don't you just hate it when the bigwigs of your company force you to do something that you just can't do? Guess we're doing a bit of remodeling here. Okay.
You can't waltz waltz into Olivier's office through the front door, so I've opened another route. Up we go. Did you know that Abstergo was run by Templars? Oh, yes. Sounds like crackpot stuff, I know. But then again, the moon landing was fake, right? So, anything's possible.
What? You mean Neil Armstrong didn't walk on the moon? I don't believe you. So, look at that water. I just wish you could just, like, go down in there and swim or something. Okay.
Either you walk through that door, or throw yourself off the terrace. Those are your options.
Well, okay. I can't jump, and I don't have a parachute. Darn. Okay.
Well done, kiddo. Find his computer. Make it snappy. We're looking for the shareholders' meeting schedule. It's worth a lot of money to us.
I don't know how I feel about hacking my superior's computer. I mean, my coworker is one thing.
Careful now. As the data moves, there are security programs constantly monitoring the data flow. You need to sneak past them, or they will destroy your data and send it back home.
You need to transfer the data from the starting point on the left to the finishing position on the right. The security programs in the data streams will destroy your data if they touch it. When data is destroyed, it's returned to its starting position. These security programs change states. They go from inactive to active. When they are in active state, they will destroy your data. When they are inactive, you can move over them. When the game area edges become active, they turn red. Active edges destroy player data. In other words, make it over without running into the red bits. And there we go. To Melanie LeMay, Kama Neuron, Chloe Lesney, Christopher Darby, and Evan Dean. Hey Evan, from Olivier, November 6th, 2013. Salut! As most of you know, I'll be attending the Chicago shareholders meeting from the 15th to the 17th, and they'll want to see our progress with the Kenway line. The small amount of data we have already gathered is incredible, and we anticipate even more amazing finds in the near future. The events and people we have seen so far make us confident that the complete experience will be one of the most eye-opening explorations of piracy ever seen. It will take quite a bit of work to scrub the data of objectionable and classified material, but we already have some incredibly promising footage. At the same time, Abstergo Entertainment will soon be announcing a closed beta for our new consumer cloud interface app, sexy name forthcoming. Edward Kenway's virtual pirate experience will be the first complete product on offer, and the first of its kind anywhere, an immersive, interactive pirate experience drawn from actual historical data. Internal tests of our consumer cloud app have been encouraging, and we anticipate it will be ready by the time for the next holiday season if everything goes according to plan. So this leads us to a broader question. What other experiences would we like to offer? What other historical periods and locations can we explore? Judging by our current rate of data retrieval, our capacity to produce, and our understanding of consumption trends, executives at Abstergo Industries have given me the goal of producing one complete virtual experience per annum, in addition to smaller offerings, as our research allows. This includes books, recordings, films, and any other transmedia offerings. A second related question is this. Does Sample 17 contain enough compelling data to sustain our current commitment to it, or should we make a request to Abstergo Industries for additional archive data? Remember that data from Sample 1 proved fruitful enough to create our Liberation product. It's very likely that research into samples 2 through 16 would bear surprising fruits as well. Thoughts? From Melanie. Hello all. Thanks for opening the discussion, Olivier. Just a brief heads up on where we stand now. I've been the Sample 17 project director for just over a year now, and my team and I have been able to cobble together a rough list of of the most interesting time periods available to us through this single genetic sample. Remember, this is data that has already been fully or partially sequenced by Abstergo Industries. I'll try to be brief. Patrilineal line. 15th century Italian Renaissance. 16th century Ottoman Empire. 18th century American colonies / war for independence. 19th century New England and American Midwest. Matrilineal line. 12th century Holy Land / Crusades. 13th century Egypt and Northern Africa. 14th century Ashikaga Shogunate in Japan. 18th century French Revolution. 19th century Napoleonic Wars, Taiwan. 20th century Summer of Love, American Pacific Coast. Obviously, this is just a small sample of the potential options. The number of ancestors any one person has is well over 30,000 after just 15 generations, so there could be many more surprises waiting for us within Sample 17. However, despite Sample 17's rich heritage, we should not limit ourselves to this alone if we've concrete leads elsewhere. For instance, quite a few men from all sides of my family fought in both world wars, and I even have a great-great-grandfather who fought in the American Civil War. Managed to meet President Lincoln a few times, too. Going this route is a little more costly and time-consuming since the data has not already been sequenced, but it could be rewarding in the long run. In short, if anyone has any confirmed connections to interesting historical events, periods, or cities, or knows of people who do, please share. I will also be reviewing the past 3 decades of samples collected and sequenced by Abstergo Industries. I recently learned that one of their samples, number 2 I believe, participated in the trial of Jeanne d'Arc, so there is a nice lead right there. Mel. Wild West Assassin's Creed would be interesting. And of course, they did the French Revolution. Egypt. That's coming up. From Olivier, November 6th. All good points, Mel. A word of caution, though. Sample 2 comes from the late Dr. Warren Vidic himself, collected at some point in the early 80s when he was a young engineer working at Abstergo Industries. So as tempting as a Jeanne d'Arc experience sounds, I'm not sure Abstergo Industries would be too keen on letting us rummage around in Dr. Vidic's DNA. It's just a sensitive topic. For my own part, I'm related to Francois Xavier Garneau, noted Quebecois historian and poet. Exciting, right? A possible lead? Winky face. One additional caveat. Let's avoid digging into any modern periods, i.e. 20th century, unless we find something incredibly compelling. Because as fun as a World War II setting might sound, and we do well to avoid any settings with vehicles. Cars, motorcycles, helicopters, tanks, etc. Why, you may ask? Because our research has shown that memory imprinting in individuals is actually hampered by the semi-catatonic state most people enter when driving for medium and long periods of time. And this makes data retrieval somewhat more difficult. In short, we don't want to go through the effort of coding extra animus features just for the sake of digging up memories of people driving around in cars. There are other and more efficient ways to experience that. From Chloe Lesney. Olivier. Haha, Quebec City is beautiful, but without pirates, ninjas, or zombies, I'm not sure how well a story about a historian would sell. Also, keep in mind, samples 4 and 16 might be off limits too. While doing my own research last month, I caught wind of some exciting characters buried in these gene samples, but as soon as I started digging, I was told by people far, far above me to stop. Very odd, but not surprising, I suppose. AE has a lot of active military contracts, and I assume these had something to do with that. I didn't push back. As far as my own, if anyone was interested, my great-grandfather was friends with Hemingway and Stein and Satie and Picasso when he lived in Paris in the 1920s. No action-packed adventures there, but historically interesting. Just throwing it out there. P.S. Chris, is our lunch meeting on-site or off? Yeah, Daniel Cross and Clay Kazmarek. Those are off limits now too, apparently. From Olivier. Yes, as much as I love The Lost Generation, I think our first few virtual experiences will need to be a little more action-oriented, so wars and major combat operations are always a good starting point. Or any periods of intense conflict, really. As for pirates and ninjas and zombies, we could easily accommodate the first two, but zombies are a bit, how do you say, ahistorical? Too bad, really. From Christopher Darby. My great-grandmother, for instance, worked alongside Eamon de Valera and Michael Collins for many years during the Irish War for Independence, so it wouldn't be difficult to sequence that small segment of my own genetic memories for our purposes. Olivier. Actually, there is a factual basis for zombies, or zombification, really. Read Hurston's book on Haiti and the strange voodoo practice there. It may not be Hollywood-style zombie magic, but it's creepy nonetheless. In Liberation, Aveline came into contact with voodoo Hogans. If we dug further into that, I wonder what we could find. Her mentor, Agate, was into some weird stuff. KL, offsite. There's a new vegetarian place I want to try. I'll bring the spec sheets. They're already printed. From Kama Neuron. Sorry to be a dissenter, but couldn't we be using this technology to educate, not placate? I mean, theoretically, we have all of human history to explore, all of our achievements and brightest moments, so it's a little disheartening to hear we need to focus on wars and conflicts and violence. It's not that I am against violence per se, it's just that violence isn't terribly interesting in bulk, that's all. There's so much more nuance to life, and I think we could explore that. So what if we found the memories of someone who worked with Albert Einstein in his patent office, or Charles Darwin on the Beagle, or Marie Curie in France? Moments where humans showed their very best potential. From Evan Dean. Okay, come on. Until oily, humorless university professors start paying us 8-figure fees to research the reification of normative gender signifiers in pre-colonial India, why don't we stick to shit that sells? I'm talking Jack the Ripper in Victorian London. I'm talking about guillotines, Robespierre, and Napoleon Bonaparte in the French Revolution. Huh, they did all that. I'm talking about Billy the Kid and Wyatt Earp in the wild American West. Please do that, Ubisoft. I'm talking about Genghis Khan and the Mongols killing a city of millions in the span of a long summer weekend. Action, blood, adventure, conflict. Because we're not going to earn back 1/10 of the money we have poured into this, reliving the memories of the guy who sat next to Einstein as he bit his nails while working out the finer details of general relativity in his head. For F's sake, man, this is a business, not a group therapy session. From Olivier. Evan, let's take this offline. Jeez, Evan. An archival set of email messages between top Abstergo Entertainment executives.
You sneaky bastard. A pirate through and through, ain't you? Now, get down to the lobby. There's a courier waiting. Yeah, that's right. I've been planning this for a few hours. Now, wait. The receptionist. Hold on. I'll try something.
No, it's still recording, Patty. What do you mean? I thought I got rid of all this pictures. You're where?
As gullible as ever.
What did you tell her? Seriously, what'd you do?
Now, hurry down to the lobby before I remotely detonate your earpiece.
What?
Don't even think about ratting me out. My tracks are covered. Yours ain't.
I want to take my earpiece off and get the heck out of this company now. I don't like John. Like, I should probably report him. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll report him to Melanie. Or Olivier. Or whoever's in charge. Harassment in the workplace. Dang it. Dang it. I was doing so well. There we go. Huh. Assassin's Creed Black Flag by Oliver Bowden. Chapter 3. She was in the Old Shillelagh, a tavern halfway between Hatherton and Bristol, a regular haunt for me, and sometimes in the summer when Mother and Father toiled over the shearing at home, when I'd have to make more regular trips into town, then several times a day. I admit I hadn't taken much notice of her at first, which is unusual for me, because I like to pride myself on knowing the exact location of any pretty woman nearabouts, and besides, the Shillelagh wasn't exactly the sort of place you expected to find a pretty girl. A woman, yes. A certain type of woman, but But this girl I could see wasn't like that. She was young, about my age, and she wore a white linen coif and a smock. Looked to me like a domestic. But what made me aware of her wasn't her clothes, it was the loudness of her voice, which was quite in contrast to the way she looked. She was sitting with 3 men, all of them older than her, who I recognized at once. Tom Cobley, his brother Seth, and Julian somebody, whose surname escaped me, but who worked with them. 3 men with whom I had traded words if not blows before. The kind who looked down their noses at me because they thought I looked down my nose at them, who liked me no more than I liked them, which was not a lot. They were sat forward on their stools and watched this young girl with leering, wolfish eyes that betrayed a darker purpose, even though they were all smiles, banging on the table, encouraging her as she drank dry a flagon of ale. No, she did not look like one of the women who usually frequented the tavern, but it seemed that she was determined to act like one of them. The flagon was about as big as she was, and as she wiped her hand across her mouth and banged it to the table, the men responded with cheers, shouting for another one and no doubt pleased to see her wobble slightly on her stool. Probably couldn't believe their luck. Pretty little thing like that. I watched as they let the girl drink yet more ale with the same tumult accompanying her success, and then as she did the same as before, and wiped her hand across her mouth, but with an even more pronounced wobble this time, a look passed between them, a look that seemed to say, "The job is done." Tom and Julian stood, and they began in their words to escort her to the door, because, "You've had too much to drink, my lovely. Let's get you home, shall we?" "To bed," smirked Seth, thinking he was saying it under his breath, even though the whole tavern heard him. Let's begin you to bed." I passed a look at the barman, who dropped his eyes and used his apron to blow his nose. A customer sat down the bar from me, turned away as I appealed to him with my eyes. Bastards. Might as well have looked to the cat for help, I thought. Then with a sigh, banged down my tankard, stepped off my stool, and followed the Cobleys into the road outside. I blinked as I stepped from the darkness of the tavern into bright sunlight. My cart was there, roasting in the sun. Beside it, another one that I took to belong to the Cobleys. On the other side of the road was a yard with house set far back, but no sign of a farmer. We were alone on the highway. Just me, the 2 Cobley brothers, Julian, and the girl, of course. "Well, Tom Cobley," I said, "the things you see on a fine afternoon. Why, just you and your cronies are getting drunk and getting a poor, defenseless young woman even drunker." The girl sagged as Tom Cobley let go of her arm and turned to address me, his finger already raised. "Now just you stay out of this, Edward Kenway, you young good-for-nothing. You're as drunk as I am, and your morals just as loose. I don't need to be given a talking to by the likes of you." Seth and Julian had turned as well. The girl was glazed over, like her mind had turned in for the night, even if her body was still awake. "Well," I smiled, "loose morals I might have, Tom Cobley, but I don't need to pour ale down a girl's throat before taking her to bed, and I certainly don't need 2 friends to help me at the task." Tom Cobley reddened. "Why, you cheeky little bastard, you. I'm going to put her on my cart is what I'm going to do, and take her home." "I have no doubt that you intend to put on your cart and take her home. It's what you plan to do, but between putting her on the cart and reaching home that concerns me." "That concerns you, does it? A broken nose and a couple of broken ribs will be concerning you unless you mind your own bloody business." Squinting, I glanced at the highway, where trees bordered the dirt track shone gold and green in the sun, and in the distance was a lone figure on a horse, shimmering and indistinct. I took a step forward, and if there had been any warmth or humor in my manner, then it disappeared now, almost of its own accord. There was a steeliness in my voice when I next spoke. "Now you just leave that girl alone, Tom Cobley, or I won't be responsible for my actions." The 3 men looked at one another. In a way, they'd done as I asked. They let go of the girl, and she seemed almost relieved to slide to her haunches, placing one hand on the ground and looking at us all with bleary eyes, evidently oblivious to all that was being discussed on her behalf. Meanwhile, I looked at the Cobleys and weighed up the odds. Had I ever fought 3 at once? Well, no. Because if you were fighting 3 at once, then you weren't so much fighting, you were getting beaten up. But come on, Edward Kenway, I told myself. Yes, on the one hand there was 3 men, but one of them was Tom Cobley, who was no spring chicken, about my father's age. Another one was Seth Cobley, who was Tom Cobley's son. And if you can imagine the kind of person who would help his father get a young girl drunk, well, then you can imagine that sort of person Seth Cobley was, which was to say a maggoty, underhand type, more likely to run away from a fight with wet breeches than stand his ground, and what's more, they were drunk. On the other hand, I was drunk too. Plus they had Julian who, going on looks alone, which is all I had, could handle himself. But I had another idea. That lone rider I could see in the distance. If I could just hold off the Cobblies till he arrived, the odds were likely to shift back in my favor. After all, if he was of good character, the lone rider was bound to stop and help me out. Well, Tom Cobley, I said, you got the advantage over me. That's obvious for anyone to see. But you know, I just wouldn't be able to look my mother in the eye knowing I'd let you and your cronies abduct this pretty young thing. I glanced up at the road to where that lone rider was getting closer. Come on then, I thought. Don't hang about. So, I continued, even if you end up leaving me in a bloody heap by the side of this here road and carry that young lassie off anywhere, I'm going to have to do all I can to make it as difficult for you as possible. And perhaps see to it that you go on your way with a black eye and maybe a pair of throbbing bullocks for your troubles. Tom Cobley spat, then gazed at me through wizened, slitty eyes. Well, are you just going to stand there talking about it all day, Edward Kenway, or are you going to attend to your task? Because time waits for no man. He grinned an evil grin. I've got people to see, things to do. Aye, that's right, and the longer you leave it, the more chance that poor lassie has of sobering up, eh? I don't mind telling you, I'm getting tired of this talk, Kenway. He turned to Julian. How about we teach this little bastard a lesson? Oh, and one more thing before we start, Master Kenway. You ain't fit to shine your mother's shoes, you understand? That hit me hard. I don't mind admitting. Having someone like Tom Cobley, who had all the morals of a frothing dog and about half the intelligence, able to reach into my soul and, if my guilt was an open wound, then stick his thumb in that open wound and cause me even more pain, well, it certainly firmed up my resolve, if nothing else. Julian pushed his chest forward and with a snarl advanced. 2 steps away from me, he raised his fists, dipping his right shoulder and swung. And I don't know who Julian was used to fighting outside taverns, but somebody with less experience than me, that's for sure, because I'd already taken note of the fact that he was right-handed, and he couldn't have made his intentions more obvious if he tried. The dirt rose in clouds around my feet as I dodged easily and brought my own right up sharply. He shouted in pain as I caught him under the jaw, and if it had just been him, the battle would have been won. But Tom Cobley was already upon me. I just saw him out the corner of my eye, and was too late to react, and I was dazed by a fist that slammed into my temple. I staggered slightly as I turned to meet the attack. With my fists were swinging much more wildly than I'd have liked. I was hoping to land a lucky blow, needing to put at least one of the men down to even up the numbers, but none of my punches made contact as Tom Cobley retreated. Plus, Julian had recovered from my first punch with alarming speed and now came at me again. He swung and his right hand connected with my chin, spinning me about as I almost lost my balance. My head fell off, my hair was in my eyes, and I was in disarray. And guess who came in with his boots kicking? That worm Seth Cobley, shouting encouragement to his father and Julian at the same time. The little bastard was lucky. His boot caught me in the midriff, and already off balance, I lost my footing, and fell. The worst thing that you can do in a fight against 3 men is fall. Once you fall, it's over. Through their legs I saw the lone rider up the highway, now my only chance at salvation, possibly my only hope of getting out of this alive, but what I saw made my heart sink. Not a man on a horse, a tradesman, who would dismount and come rushing to my aid. No, the lone rider was a woman. She was riding astride the horse, not side saddle, but even though was lady. She wore a bonnet and a light-colored summery dress. And the last thing I thought before the Cobley boots obscured my view and the kicks came raining in, was that she was beautiful. But beauty wasn't going to save me now. Hey, I heard, you 3 men, stop what you're doing right now. They turned to look up at her and removed their hats, shuffling in line to hide the sight of me, who lay coughing on the ground. What is going on here? She demanded to know. From the sound of her voice, I could tell she was young and, while not highly born, definitely well-bred. Too well-bred, surely, to be riding unaccompanied. We were just teaching this young man here some manners, rasped Tom Cobley, out of breath. Exhausting business it was, kicking me half to death. Well, it doesn't take 3 men of you to do that, does it? She replied. I could see her now, twice as beautiful as I first thought as she glowered at the Cobleys, who for their part looked thoroughly mollified. She dismounted. More to the point, what are you doing with this young lady here? Pointing at the girl, who still sat dazed and drunk on the ground. Oh, ma'am, this is a young friend of ours who has had too much to drink. The lady darkened. She is most certainly not your young friend. She is a maidservant, and if I don't get her back home before my mother discovers that she's absconded, then she will be an unemployed maidservant. She looked pointedly from one to the next. I know you men, and I think I know exactly what has been going on here. Now you will leave this young man alone and be on your way before I am of a mind to take this further. With much bowing and scraping, the Cobleys clambered aboard their cart and were soon gone. Meanwhile, the woman dismounted and knelt down to speak to me. My name is Caroline Scott. My family lives in Hawkins Lane in Bristol. Let me take you back there and tend to your wounds. I cannot, my lady, I said, sitting up and trying to manage a grin. I have work to do. She stood. I see. And did I assess the situation correctly? I picked up my hat and began to brush the dirt from it. It was even more battered now. You did, my lady. Then I owe you my thanks, and so will Rose when she sobers up. She's a willful girl, not always the easiest of staff, but nevertheless, I don't want to see her suffer for her impetuousness. She was an angel, I decided then, and as I helped them mount the horse, Caroline holding on to Rose, who lolled drunkenly over the neck of the horse, I had a sudden thought. Can I see you again, my lady? To thank you properly when I look a little more presentable, perhaps. She gave me a regretful look. I fear my father would not approve, she said, and with that shook the reins and left. That night I sat beneath the thatch of our cottage, staring out over the pastures as the sun went down. Usually my thoughts would concern either the possibility of escape or wrestling with the inevitability of my future. That night I thought of Caroline Scott of Hawkins Lane. Chapter 3, in which I meet my future wife, Miss Caroline Scott. Well, that was nice. Going down. Oh, we've only been going 45 minutes. Huh.
Did you, like the allongé? I practiced.
I think you pulled it a little too long.
Oh, come on. It's not encrypted code, for God's sakes. It's just a bloody coffee. Oh, hooray! It's our old friend.
Hey there, I just got a call about picking up another transfer.
Aw, you said you were here to see me.
Yes, that is one of the perks. Let's see it. A conference in Chicago, very nice. Thanks for this. We'll be in touch.
Ciao, Rebecca. Text me.
Stuff it, Hastings.
Can I get a coffee now?
Very well done. Apologies for my temper tantrum there. You are with the good guys, I promise. We'll keep you safe. Trust me. Go on back to work. We'll be in touch.
Sean, can I have a coffee now, please?
Between the parking garage and my desk.
Please.
I wish I could say this was illegal, but they actually have a legal right to do this.
Really?
Yeah. With the highest levels of security clearance from 17 different countries, Abstergo actually has a legal right to arrest and detain people too. It's crazy.
Any other sticky notes or computers? We got level 2 now.
Did you see that detail up front this morning? Security guys?
Yeah, dressed like riot police, grabbing people's IDs.
They checked mine 3 times between the parking garage and my desk.
Okay then. Sticky notes. Sticky note. $11. 1, 3, 5. 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. Let's see what we got on this one. So, this is going to be at least 5. Nope, nope. Hold on. Last digit of your sum is 5 or 0. Then at least one is 5. Okay, so we got a 5. 3, 4, 9. So a 1 is at least 3. Let's make that 3. There we go. We'll come back and check that later. Let's check down here. I don't know if I've been in these ones. Don't see any sticky notes. Sticky notes. Nope. Nope. Okay, going back up. Still want that coffee, Sean. I'm watching you. Okay, let's head back up. See if we can get through any more computers. We go over here. Bingo, number 2. I see a sticky note. Number 3. Ah, you're level 3 one. Okay. Oh. There we go. Gotta make it through. Dang it. And go. There we go.
This is on. I don't think I've ever used this phone more than a few times to record anything. Hey, Dad. So, we're all here in New York at the motel. It's Queens, actually, in Astoria, near the NQ. Rebecca's off getting batteries for something. Sean's in his room doing whatever Sean does. And, you're out getting some food. Me? Well, I'm supposed to be getting ready to break into some offices in the financial district. Feels just like prepping for one of your old training drills, actually. 10 years go by, and then you show up, and it's like I was never gone, and we're right back to the ball busting and the conspiracies and the paranoia. Only this time, I believe you. I believe believe every word. You know, I don't even think you know the half of it. I don't think you know how much I've seen. How much I've learned in just a few weeks. Everything, really. I feel like I've lived 1,000 years, or 10,000, maybe. It's impossible to explain. But when you see that much of the world through the eyes of so many, you can't help but be sad. And to see all these incredible, intelligent people fight the same battles, make the same mistakes over and over again. Because culture and knowledge and history, these things, they aren't passed on through our genes. Every kid on Earth needs to relearn the basics. How to live, how to survive, how to stand up for what's right. So much is lost in the transfer. So much is added every generation. It's a shame. I mean, over and over, everything must be learned again. I met Clay, Dad. Clay Gesmerick, in the Animus. I knew him by his Abstergo handle, Subject 16. My predecessor. And he showed me things. He passed them to me, just before he died. Or got deleted or whatever. Everything he'd learned, everything he'd seen. God, how do I talk about this? So, guess you trained him. Huh? After I left, he really looked up to you, and now that I've seen through his eyes, I think I understand why. I'm glad you had him around, even if I wasn't there. The things he showed me. Unbelievable things. And I never... Shit. Alright, I'll back in a second.
Voice recording retrieved from Subject 17's mobile phone. Nice to hear from you again, Desmond. Hey, more! What's this one? Oh. Hi, Sean. Desmond, you had to take a selfie. Ah, Canosa in Brazil. Must have stopped by there. Hi, Rebecca. Hey, Q. Oh, that's a nice picture. Oh, cute little kitty. Photos are covered from their mobile phone. Nice pictures, Desmond. Okay, let's get back to our Animus. Wait. Anything else here? Hold on. Oop, there's a level 2 one over here. Hold on. Sticky notes. More hacking. Sorry, guys. Divisible by 2. There we go.
Eagle, but they actually have a legal right to do this.
Really?
Yeah. With the highest levels of security clearance from 17 different countries, Abstergo actually has a...
Hey. No problem. I remember the first time I did this for more than an hour.
Hi, Melanie. Let's see. Now let's go over here.
Grabbing people's IDs.
You been in this one? I don't think so. Huh, how did I miss this? Concept art. Sticky note. $16. 1, 5, 13, 14, 15, 18.
Okay, it's been a few weeks since the last recording. Sorry about that. Of course, I guess it's just a few seconds for you. I'll leap down the playlist. Anyway, I was talking about Clay. Casmeric, subject 16. So, when I fell into a coma back in Italy and woke up in the Animus Black Room, it was, so calming. It felt like I had woken up into a dream. Haze. A dream where none of this mess had ever happened. Felt like I should just be getting ready for another day of pouring drinks at bad weather and another day of complaining about being between girlfriends and wondering what the hell to do with myself. But when I saw Clay just sitting there, it started to come back, you know, piece by piece. And when he told me about Lucy, fuck, you know, it hurt. You know, realizing that I killed her without thinking or feeling anything. Not at the time, anyway. Well, then, things just kept piling on. There were more memories of Ezio and Altair and the first civilization. And then, right before he vanished, Clay passed on his memories to me. He showed me everything he had seen and lived through, and it was brief, but overwhelming. Not really sure how to explain. He saw glimpses of Adam and Eve and their escape from slavery. He saw the beginning and the end of the war between the first Civ and humans. He saw Minerva, Juno, and Tinia trying to work out their calculations. At least that's what they called them. They had these tools, these powerful machines that could predict possible futures. Not what was going to happen, but what could happen. Probabilities. And, well, I spent a lot of energy trying to figure out what was the most likely scenario for the future. Theirs and ours. And in the end, I guess they figured I was their most likely candidate. Some guy named Desmond living at the beginning of the 21st century of the Common Era. But which Desmond was the right one? Because, you see, probability is a weird thing. It can branch out in so many ways. Which version of me did they need? Was it the Desmond who got married early and had a son? One who stayed single in New York? Or was it the Desmond who moved to San Francisco to be a waiter? Maybe it was the Desmond who worked at an auto body shop in Chicago, or maybe it was the me who never ran away from his parents in the first place. First Civ had countless variations to choose from, but in the end, the lucky one was me. I'm the Desmond their best calculations spit out. I'm the Desmond they left their messages for, and I guess I have to live with that honor. What an honor. Pretty tired. There'll be more later. Ciao. Hey, Dad. You know, it's funny. I have this memory of you, one I keep coming back to. I always think about it when I'm working or just before going to bed, because it sort of calms me, I guess. I was 14, I think, and you were trying to teach me how to walk with...
I'll save this for the end of the video. So we got a bunch of other stuff to hack still. Oh, that's not a computer. Here we go. And aw, dang it. Dang it. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. Audio files recorded from a collection of reel-to-reel tapes found in the residence of the late Dr. Warren Vidic. Subject 0. Sticky notes, sticky notes. Looking for some sticky notes. Hey, Aveline. Number 5. This must have been the Liberation branch. I think I just wanted a circle. There we go. How many ancestors do you have? How many of their secrets are locked away in your genes? And how many of their stories are you willing to share with the rest of us? Welcome to the fascinating world of genetic memory retrieval. We here at Abstergo Entertainment are now poised at the precipice of this exciting new frontier, technology and science that will change the way we view the past and live the future. In the coming year, we'll be opening studios all across the world dedicated to a single purpose: collecting and archiving the stories locked away in human DNA. And we need your help. We're looking for courageous men and women to donate their genetic materials to our historical research teams and help us make re-history. Donate today. So join us, Abstergo Entertainment, where the past is our playground. First pass storyboard concept for a new AE blood donor program. Approval pending. Well, that's nice. Almost. Dang it. There we go.
Our researchers looked into the life of Altair Ibn Lahad, hoping to find a biography that might serve as a positive role model for Abstergo's global outreach programs. Unfortunately, this renegade assassin proved to be no such thing. In much of his footage, we see a man gleefully flouting some of his culture's most entrenched taboos with an arrogance that borders on messianic.
Altair, no! This is not our way. To burn a man's body is forbidden.
Many of our researchers felt that the arguments articulated by Altair's rival, a man known as Abbas, were clearer and more cogent than any we heard from Altair. I recently put in a request that more effort be dedicated to locating one of Abbas's descendants, if any exist. It's clear to us that Altair's transgressions were the primary motivation behind the ultimate dissolution of his despicable order by the middle of the 13th century. We therefore strongly recommend a pass on this property, in favor of a more agreeable and inspiring figure from this era.
You butchered the names. It's Abbas and Altair Ibn Lahad. A market feasibility analysis commissioned for the purpose of determining the strengths and weaknesses of acquired historical properties. Any more in here? Yes, this one. I'm just going in circles. Oh, I got it. One of history's most overlooked leaders, Madeleine de Lise, freed hundreds of slaves and brought them to sanctuary in a tropical haven whose construction she oversaw personally. Brutally cut down at the peak of her career by Aveline de Grand Prix, the orphan she rescued from her broken home, Madeleine served as Master Templar in the southern colonies from 1764 to 1777. The abolitionist. Huh. That everything? Nope, there's one more. You. Lots of hacking in this video. Subject 17, Phase 1 report. This surveillance video, possibly captured by Eridito or another group, is labeled New York, USA 2012 901 402. The accompanying chat transcribed was labeled Kidnapped, data transcript level 3. Can someone ask Chase to make sure his men use more professional language going forward? Cell tower grid 40SP73ZN. Outgoing transmission. Caller ID private. Interference. Yes, sir. We have him. Yes, shoving him in the van as we speak, sir. Target will be delivered on schedule. Surveillance video labeled Brooklyn, USA, 2012 901 437. The poster claimed Abstergo agents have captured an unknown Caucasian male. Victim is in his mid-20s, approximately 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. Destination unknown. This one is labeled Ciampino, Italy, 2012 901 1844. The poster identified this only as unmarked hangar, but then went on to say Abstergo agents arriving at destination. Company-owned jet brought to hangar after landing. Victim identified as Desmond Miles. I don't think this has spread too far yet. Location has already been scrubbed, so I think we can dismiss this as the ravings of a fanatic. Preliminary analysis. A leaked medical file. We're looking into it. No menstrual disorders for Subject 17, though. That must have been a relief for the public to read. Patient has no active complaints, no acute distress, no prior cardiac history. Blood pressure normal, 112/78. Primary blood analysis. No significant traces of chemicals that would lead to neurological disorder. No indication that patient would be prone to neurosis. Unlike previous subjects, patient is psychologically stable. You are cleared to proceed. Signed by Damian Saravakos, MD, on 2012 903. Missing person poster. Friends of Subject 17 distributed these all over New York. Have you seen this man? Age 25, height 6 feet, weight 195, brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen September 1st, 2012, near Washington Square Park, wearing white hoodie and dark jeans. If you have any information, please contact us at... Sensitive materials relating to the captured Subject 17 harvested from hacktivist websites for analysis. Interesting. Well, before I go back in, let's hear his third memo.
Hey, Dad. You know, it's funny. I have this memory of you, one I keep coming back to. And I always think about it when I'm working or just before going to bed, because it sort of calms me, I guess. I was 14, I think, and you were trying to teach me how to walk with a light step. Remember that? How to be mindful of how much noise I made when I moved around. Simple stuff. Stuff I understand now, but back then, I gotta tell you, I thought you were just being an asshole. You told me you were gonna go up to your room and sit with your back to the door and read a book. And you wanted me to wait at least 15 minutes and then sneak up there and tap you on the shoulder without you knowing. I even remember the book you were reading at the time, the one by Captain Johnson. And you warned me that if you caught me, we'd have to start all over. Then you went upstairs. And I waited. I waited, and I waited, and I waited. I waited 4 hours before deciding to go up. And even then, it took me 20 minutes to get to the foot of the stairs. and another 30 to get up them. And then 10 to get down the hall, and there I was at the door and peeked into your room. And I was so hoping that you'd be asleep. But no, you were still reading. And I just about shit myself. But 10 minutes later, I was just 5 feet away from you. And that's when I remember setting my foot down, and you flinched. Ever so slightly. You flinched. I thought maybe I'd imagined it, but I knew you'd heard me. You didn't say anything. You just checked your watch, you reached for your drink, you took a sip, and then you kept reading. But I knew I'd failed. You didn't say anything. I didn't understand why. Then I lunged and tapped you on the shoulder, and you turned around, and oh, fantastic, you said, and you scooped me up, and you gave me a big hug, and I didn't say anything. But Dad, I was so pissed off. I wanted to scream at you. I failed, and you knew it, but you said nothing. And I stayed mad for weeks. I thought you were patronizing me. Thought maybe you decided right there that I was never going to be the man you wanted me to be. But I realized just a few years ago that you checking your watch, that was the clue, wasn't it? You let me win because I had been so patient. I guess that impressed you. You know, maybe at that moment you thought it might be better to be my dad instead of my mentor. I don't really know. Maybe for you they're one and the same. You know, either way, I'm happy to know that both my mentor and my dad are looking out for me that day. I didn't understand that then. I think I do now.
And on that note, I'm gonna end the video here. If you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Oh, we got a new message. Hold on. Security warning. Due to the recent data leak, new security measures will be installed. Please remember to follow all guidelines concerning your communicator cubicle, and as always, honor and respect your NDA. Attention! Throughout the week, window cleaners will be active outside the building on all floors. Please take extra care to maintain the confidentiality of research and report any anomalous behavior to security or a manager. A number of colleagues have recently accepted voluntary separation packages or transfers to other subsidiaries of Abstergo Industries. Please wish a warm goodbye to Sarah Young, Scout Smester, and Chloe Lesney. Bon voyage. Ah, Chloe's leaving. Evan, ever notice the weird vibe in this place? I'm serious, it's not all sushi and lattes. I think we had to leave our old office because it was haunted. No, seriously though, why does a company that's only 2 years old have the resources for an office this size? Not to mention the aquarium elevator. That's some sensible spending right there. But I like the elevator. Emma Baudrillard. Party like it's 1984. I was just out for a walk around the atrium, and I gotta ask, have you noticed all the cameras in this place? Why do they need to watch us so closely? We're making games, for crying out loud, not weapons or something. What's your take on all this? John from IT. Hey there, I tweaked your communicator a bit. You can now take a peek around the building using the security system's cameras. Be sensible with this incredible new power. Anything in the diary? Nope. Okay. Now I'm gonna end it. If you like this video, let me know in the comments.
I've an awful feeling about this. You'll be hurt out there. I couldn't handle that.
I'll be careful, I promise. And when I'm flush with coin and set up, I'll send for you. I will.
Caroline, come away! Don't exert yourself!
I can't promise I'll come, Edward. If you leave on this fool's errand, I cannot promise anything.
Don't give up on me, Caroline. Not when I need your faith the most.
Why am I in this outfit?
Just a short letter home. I reckon she's past caring anyway.
Oh, you're a hard heart that should be softer.
Or soft in parts that should be hard.
And how is it you're so keen for his hard parts, Mr. Rackham?
You'd like to know my secrets, would you?
Oh, aye. Give me a small hint, like. Or a large one, if you're an upright gentleman.
Open your hand.
Oh.
Who's shooting?
Might be them ships sliding into port.
Jesus.
Seriously, why am I wearing this outfit? This makes no sense. I need to switch my clothes. Why am I wearing this outfit? Ooh, weapon. Smith, you can help me.
Am I given to understand?
Do I have any sword sets? I could get it.
Later,
there,
perhaps.
that's much better. You know what? First, I'm gonna travel quickly to my hideout. Fast travel is unavailable. Dang it! Okay, I'm gonna buy a sword set then. There. No, I don't have enough. Oh well.
My thanks.
Now I'll finish the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.